Hey there, my name's Jonas. I'm going to be showing you my SEng 475 final project. My project was like a command line calculator inspired by the graphing calculators I used to use. So basically you could do your basic calculations as normal, but then you could also save your results to variables and use those variables for later. Then beyond that, I added some very rudimentary arrays so that you could use arrays. So here I'll show you a demonstration of it running. So this is it running interactively, just from the command line. So it says enter equation here. So from here you can do exactly what you'd expect. You can do enter equations. It works. So, and it obeys precedence, obviously. So we would expect this to be 6, not 9. Sorry, 7, not 9. My bad. That does make sense. So yeah, that's pretty cool. But where it gets awesome is you can say variables. So a equals 99, b equals 1, and then you could say c equals a plus b, and you get 100. So it can use variable wherever a normal number would be used. It's the exact same thing. Obviously, if you try to use a variable that doesn't exist, d is not a variable that has been declared yet. So that's exactly what we expect. We still get answer equals 0 because every line on this calculator is an expression and must evaluate to something. So if it's an invalid expression, I just make it evaluate to 0. So the other thing we can do is we can use arrays. So if we say just some variable called array, and we can put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, as many as you want. And now we get an array. Now to get things out of the array, I used a colon instead of square brackets just because it made parsing and evaluating easier. It was easy to just slot in this way. So if I say array 0, I should get 1 out. I say array 3, should get 4 out. Yeah. So that works as expected. And then you can use these just as any other variable in the program. So you could say, I don't know, test equals array 0 plus array 1. So now we can see array 0 was 1, array 1 was 2. So you add those together, you get 3. So it's just like a normal variable. They're pretty cool because you could also say, you can make nested arrays. So in this language or program or calculator, there's really 2 data types. You have double, which is just all your numbers, and you have an array. And an array can have any number of doubles or arrays contained in it. So if I make a simple one, I could have an array. The first array in that array is 1, 2, and the second one is 3, 4. And there you go. So now we have like a 2-dimensional array. So you could, if you wanted to get the first item in the second list, you could say so first item in the second list. So second list is 1. First item is 0. There you go. We pulled the 3 out. So you could go as deep as you want with that. It just works. It's pretty cool. Obviously, as I said, you don't have to have a homogeneous array like this. You could have maybe your first item is 1, your second item is 2, but then you want an array for your third item. So you could have 1, 2, 3. And that just works. So you hit the first item, first 2 items are doubles, and the third item is an array of 3 doubles. So that's really cool like that. So the other thing you can do is run it from a file of equations you've already written. So if we just look at this file here, this is the same syntax as you put in the command line, just from a file. So anything with the pound in front of it is just a comment. It gets ignored. Blank lines don't matter, they're just ignored, and then everything else is just an equation as if you had entered it at the command line. So if you want to run a file like this, you can just say, sorry, my typing's not very good. You just name the file when you call it, and this puts it in, takes it out of interactive mode and just runs the file. So as you can see, it printed out each line as it saw it, and then any lines it could evaluate, it did. So the comments were just printed out, but then it got to 1 plus 2, and it found the answer to be 3. So I think this is pretty cool. I'm pretty happy with it. We can make another test file if you want. think it's really fun to play with. Really proud of this one. One of the features I wanted to add, but just didn't really find the time to, was I was going to add functions, so that you could define little like functional programming style things. Like you could have a, I don't know, like a square function. So the code, if you're looking through it, you might find a few remains of the planning for that. It never ended up happening, but you'll find things like multiple scopes that you could push and pop. So like when you call the function, you were supposed to push a scope so that you could have, so you could reuse variable names without stomping on the old ones. But yeah, like I said, that just didn't end up happening. But it would be a cool feature to see in the future, and I think I'm going to work on it in my own time and get that to happen. It wasn't part of my original design spec, so I don't feel too bad about not doing it. A little disappointed it didn't happen, but what can you do? Anyways, thank you for listening. I hope you think this is as cool as I do, because this is like my nerdiness right here is very happy, and I think it's pretty awesome. So thanks for listening. See ya.